Mr. President, we have many investors in the room. This is the DNA of this conference. And each time I'm trying to promote the continent where I was born, like you, we see a lot of skepticism about Africa. People are scared about the, I would say, lack of stability. They are very hesitant. They see this domino effect of coup in Central Africa, in West Africa. What would you answer to these investors who are questioning, should I or not invest in Africa?
Hi everyone, welcome back to True Mambi. I hope you are well by the grace of God. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is your first time, my name is Mambi and I'm coming to share a very interesting video with you. It's interesting and it's very important. It's about an interview that Paul Kagame, the Rwanda president, has been interviewed, and I took some key factors from this video that I'm about to share with you, especially those who are in the diaspora and want to move back home. Listen to this video, you might take one or two things, have business idea, and why you should go back to Africa and invest. I saw a video about a British man making a video about telling his people to move to Ghana or Africa and build a factory, whatever. And people were like, no, you people came to destroy us and now you are calling other people to come again. But it's not about that. This guy has saw the opportunity in Africa, the opportunity that some of us can't see. And that's why he's calling his people to go and invest in Africa and also develop Africa. You know, the individual is different from the government corporations. For me, for example, when I'm talking about, the West and the US, the cooperative, the superpowers, the people behind every government that preach what they want us to do, but they do different things. That pretend they want Africa to progress, but they don't want Africa to progress. Those are the people I talk about, but not individual somebody. Also, I want to say that many white people are supporting Africans to liberate themselves, to have their freedom, because they also know that all the shouting is not for them and all the doing is not for them, but it's for individual people. Before I talk too much about what is going on, let's dive into this video. Please listen to him and I'll come back.
It's a big mistake not to invest in Africa. There's no question about it. Africa now that is about 1.4 billion people with incredible amounts of natural resources and many other resources. But people themselves, 1.4 billion people, are not, do not be wise to ignore them. You ignore them at your own peril because they can create problems not only in Africa but elsewhere, as we, to an extent.
So in this interview, Paul Kagame, the Rwanda president, was asked, why should we call people to come and invest in Africa when Africa there is always like coup and war and so on? Why should we come to invest? And he said that you might be a fool not to come to Africa and invest. He didn't use the word fool, but I'm using it. He said it's a big mistake not to take this advantage to come to Africa and invest because, one, the population is there. Two, if you do not invest in Africa, do you know what will happen? There will be problem, not just for Africans, but for the Westerners as well, foreign organizations to come to Africa and invest. Because if you don't do it, the result is they will come to your country. You know those boats that are coming to Europe, that's one of the reasons, because there's no investment in Africa. There's not enough investment that will give work to the youth. We have a lot of youth, but we don't have work there. So they have to go to places where they can get a job. And so it's not only Africa problem, it's also a problem to the West. So he's calling them to come and then invest in Africa. Let's listen to what he says and I'll come back. Thank you so much.
I want to make is we should first of all understand what the problems are and not exaggerate, and also understand that Africans and their leaders want to do their best to address these problems that have kept us all behind the rest of the world. When we talk about coups d'etats are a very bad thing. There's no question about it. But people need to go beyond just hearing coup d'etats and look at what is the possible origin of these coups.
Also, his answer about the coup in Africa is colonization doesn't leave Africa. When they give the countries freedom, they have upper hands in the ruling of the country. And they will sit there and watch whatever is going on, the corruption and everything. And then when something happens, they say, oh, they point finger on Africa. But they are the cause of everything. We should look into it, why there is coup in some part of the countries of Africa. I think we all know that already. But then now that they are calling for investment, people were pointing finger that why should I invest in this country because of coup? There's nowhere that is perfect. Even here in the UK, how many times have they changed prime minister since last year up to now? At least 4 or 5 they have changed. But because Africa, we are so particular about democracy, and also the Western hand, they are in the pocket, or our leaders' hands in their pocket of them, vice versa. I don't know what to say. Because of that, our leaders, when they are doing, you cannot remove them. Whereby here, they will remove them easily. There, you cannot just go and you say, oh, okay, we are demonstrating. Today, we want you to go because you are not looking after us. So we want different government. No, it will not happen in Africa. The only way it will happen is coup. So he's telling the people who are complaining about the coup that look into it properly. Look at the cause of the coup. If you are not looking after your people, what will happen to you is coup. I hope 1 or 2 people, if you know any leader, or as I've realized, some of the leaders watch this channel. What are you doing to your people? Are you being a good leader to your people, or you are being a good leader to other country leaders, or let's say the superpowers? You need to look after your people because that's why they elected you. And even if they don't elect you and you think that the Western power hand was in it before you became into power, don't betray your people. Do the other way around. Look after your people and there will not be coup. If you have listened to this video or listened to me up to this time, please kindly subscribe. And also, as I said, the main important reason why I'm doing this video is for the diasporans. Even if you are not a diaspora and you are in Africa and you think you can afford to build a factory to make a change, a lot of people individually are doing well in Africa. Let me tell you the truth, they are doing great job in Africa. They turn their back against the government and they are doing their own thing and they are fine. So it's us that we can develop our country. Take this opportunity before somebody else take it. Look in your environment, what is there that you can do, or what is lacking in your environment. You take something bad and you turn it into good. If you know that the gutter around you is not good, why don't you create a company about it that you'll be cleaning that gutter and you'll be making money out of it? You charge people to clean the gutter. Whatever you think that is bad in where you live in Africa, turn that thing, if it is possible, to a business. That's the only way we can progress. So thank you very much. I hope your mind will be turning around, looking for something, an opportunity to take in Africa. Our population is huge. Our population is huge. We need job in Africa. And I'll end this video by saying thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate you. Please listen to the rest of the video and I will see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.
The incredible amount of control those people still exercise in the continent. You find those coups or bad governance happening on the watch of the very people who colonized those countries and still working with them as if nothing is happening. When things go wrong, of course, you are right to blame the Africans.